He knew how vulnerable they would be after that. Anybody could draw the men's fire and waste their ammo. Even the simple opponent would know that. What is John thinking? Thought Michael. It was clear what was about to happen here. The men had made a fatal mistake. They were distracted with their fear to do anything right. Pretty soon they would be lambs ready for the slaughter. The businessman was afraid. What had he gotten himself into? What was this place? He feared the idea of it more than he feared getting hurt. Of course he didn't know what was coming his way, and he had no clue that when it came it would be so much more real than the fear flowing through his body. The man was scared and beginning to sweat, not noticing he had cut himself on the fence. The object, it wasn't a bomb or the case. It was the head from a brief, only halfway covered in meat. The rest of it was torn away from the force. Something chopped it right off. On its chin and neck you could only see bone and few pieces of black. Its fur, its expression, tight and elated. The force with which it had been torn up pulled whatever blood remained inside out to a spray. What could do this to a breed? What could do this to a trained attack dog? Something was out there and it was hunting them. The men were standing still and waiting for an order. The FBI agent radioed it in. Michael, what's there? Unit, it's a dog's head. I think it's one of the dogs from before. The informant hears on the radio. What did he just say? A dog's head. He crawls back and pisses himself. The soldier beside him. Sir, please remain calm. Calm. Something just took down a helicopter, and now they're throwing around heads. As the men are watching unknowing what's coming their way, something rushes through the trees. It comes out invisibly and cuts through the neck of one of the men. His head hops out and falls toward the ground. The informant is freaking out and shouting in the background as the soldier's head finally hits the grass. Grass already stained by the spray of his own blood. Westcott, what the fuck? Man in the background. Retreat, retreat. The young agent, shocked by what he has seen, goes on the radio and yells for them to stop. Negative. Remain in position. It could be a trap. But the men don't listen. They run around and become the lambs. The men, panicking, raise their guns and fire in all directions. The bullets only hit wood. None seem to have made any damage to anything or anyone. One of the men throws a grenade into the forest. It's a spatial type of grenade which releases a spray of fluid in the air. It then sets it on fire through a small spark. A massive push of force hits the trees around it. Another one tries the same. He's holding two grenades, but before he can throw them, one by one, his organs are taken apart by a hole not unlike one you'd expect from a sniper bullet. Horror, devastation, words to describe something terrible. But not this. The notions cannot even attempt to compare with what is happening here. The men are taken down together. A lash of rapid murder flew through the small crowd of them. Yet the hunter somehow broke them apart. The soldier holding the grenades had taken the pin out. It sprayed out around him. The other men started to run. A cloud of fire engulfed his hot body. His skin burned up completely. The smell of burning flesh spread around. The scent of his flesh in an instant scattered round, reaching the team. It was thick enough to taste. The flame blinded their night vision scopes. The scopes were useless, so one soldier drew his away. This hunter, he was so powerful, and now was the time for his hunt. Two men get torn apart by something quick and deadly. Although barely caught a glimpse of it, there was a loud cutting noise when it ran through their bodies. The two soldiers were chopped apart from something sharp. That much was clear to the soldier before he realized the pain in his abdomen. He yelled it out into his radio, and fortunately that was information too late. The men slowly realized their situation just as it came out for another round. Flesh tearing, skin ripping, blood spraying. The blade was chopping organs and cutting bodies in half. It cut through the crowd of armed, dangerous men like they were nothing, bringing death to an empty old space. It somehow brought a sick and twisted meaning to the empty woods, a place so secluded and alone being the stage for such a portrait of death. The blood dripped into the soil and immortalized the battle, the slaughter, his hunt.